When you are an attractive woman, you have to learn how to gatekeep yourself. You have to learn how to gatekeep yourself from men and women alike. Because when you understand your value and you understand your treasure, you don't allow any and everybody to have access to you. In doing that, as a woman who knows how to gatekeep herself, you also have to date men that understand the importance of you gatekeeping yourself. He has to understand the importance of being a protector. When you gatekeep yourself, you always have to remember that there are going to be people in this world that want to have access to nice things, but they don't want to go through the work, go through the process, go through the refining, and pay for it. For me, my beauty, my looks, my resources, my mindset, all of these things that make up Joshia, I feel that you should have a certain level of deposit, character, morals, and resources to have access to it. Because you're not going to go into a jewelry store and want to buy jewelry without having the money. Likewise, this is how every woman should look at themselves. You ain't going to come to me and you don't have the resources, the mindset, the values, the morals in order to have access to what I have, because I know what I have is of value. Just likewise, you won't allow any and everybody to work inside of the bank because valuables are in the bank. Therefore, as a woman, you should not allow any and everybody to have access to you because you have value. See, people wouldn't be robbing banks and robbing jewelry stores if they didn't want the shortcut of getting access to nice things without putting in work for it. So as a woman, you have to be mindful that you are gatekeeping yourself because you need to protect yourself from the very things that people want to do to you to have access to things that they did not work for. If you don't find a man that understands this very one value, I can guarantee you one thing for certain and two things for sure. He will exploit you. That is what Kim Kardashian went through. That is what Pamela Anderson went through. See, a man that understands the importance of you gatekeeping yourself will never give another woman the opportunity to have one upon you, will never allow a man to come at you crazy. Just how you wouldn't allow somebody to yuck your expensive chain off your neck, nor yuck your expensive watch off of your wrist, it's the same way that you should look at the woman that you are with. You shouldn't allow anybody to have that type of access or that one up on your woman. That's why it's very important to date protectors when you are a woman that takes pride in gatekeeping yourself. Because one thing for certain and two things for sure, there's always going to be a fox, a piglet, a raccoon, a bat lurking in the shadows to take something of value from you that they did not work hard for. So for me, there's just certain things about myself I don't allow everybody to have access to. Like the Bible say, you are like a gold ring in a pig's snout when you lack discretion. So for me, I'm always on the lookout for persons that are trying to get easy access to me but don't want to put in the work. One like me, when you ask me too much questions, I get nervous because what are you asking these questions for? There will be people in this lifetime, girlies, that want to have everything that you have. They want your look, they want your pizzazz, they want your aura, they want your essence, they want your energy. Don't give it out freely. Let them go through the refining process in order to get there.
Hey ladies, something I notice is that people want access to amazing things without doing the work, without earning it, and without being deserving or worthy of it. And so that is why, as a beautiful woman, you have to be so careful of who you allow to have access to you, because there are people out here who have not done a lick of work on themselves. They don't have a touch of spirituality in their bones. They don't have a connection to God if their life depended on it. They haven't looked in the mirror and done the self-work and the self-development. They have never walked a day in your shoes, meaning they haven't gone through the things you've gone through. They haven't weathered the same storms. They don't know what it's like to look like you, live in your skin. They haven't put in the work to show that they're trustworthy. They haven't put in the work to show that they're deserving of your time. Yet, these are the same people that want you so badly. I just don't get it. It's like the people who don't deserve amazing, beautiful things are always the first ones in line for it. Like, isn't that crazy? It's like they expect so much. People who literally haven't even done the work to even be in your same space, in your aura, in your energy field, are first in line to get a sip of your energy, are first in line to get a taste of your beauty and of your love. Whatever they're after when it comes to you, because everyone has a different agenda when they meet you, woman or man. They have an agenda, and whatever they're after, it's like, have you guys even done the work? Have you guys even looked in the mirror and asked yourself if you're even on my caliber, like on my level. And I know that may sound so arrogant, but I'm sorry, who else is gonna say it? You have to move with a sense of arrogance, just a little bit. You know, no one's saying for you to be a damn narcissist, but have some type of boundaries and have some type of standard about the type of people who you choose to spend your time with, who you choose to have access to you, and who you allow to be around you. One of the reasons why it's so imperative that you gatekeep and protect yourself from people like jealous friends, once you get that inkling that that person is jealous, run. Because a lot of times, envious, threatened, insecure women will find a gorgeous girl who's on her who has a great personality, who's kind, sweet, gorgeous, has a great routine, a great life path. They will cling to you for character development. And take it from me, someone who has experienced this time and time again, no longer experiencing that because I don't have people around me who are like this anymore. But there are people out there who have done this to me. People will do this when they need character development, when they're trying to figure out who they are and they admire you but don't want you to know that. They're going to befriend you and fake the funk with you for however long they need to until they feel like they have morphed into some version of you. And then they're going to turn around, like ghost you, run off and try to start a life with your personality, with your character, with your energy, with your attitude, with your hustle, with your interests, with your passions. It's sick. And then when they fall on their face, because that's a form of destiny swapping. Okay, so that's a form of witchcraft. We call a spade over here. I don't tiptoe around shit. I don't bullshit. And I also don't play things down like she's just admiring you. No. That's a form of destiny swapping. And what happens is those people try to run off with your whole personality and your whole life, and then they fall flat on their face, whether it's a month from now or years from now, and they end up at ground zero. Why? Because they didn't even do the work to be that person who they're trying to emulate so badly. People don't even, when you try to destiny swap with somebody and you try to use someone for your character development, you take on all of the nonsense that they had to push through and fight through, and all the lessons they had to learn, and all the people they had to lose, and all of the pain and the sleepless nights and the crying and the soul death and the ego death and all these things that you didn't think were a part of the process because you're just looking at the finished result, the end result. And you're so envious of the end result of who I am that you can't even think just because she's beautiful doesn't mean she had it all together. Maybe she actually had to go through shit to become who she is now. They don't think about that. They just think, I don't like her. She thinks she's better. I'm intimidated. So let me try to hurry up and become her and compete with her. No, baby. Now that you have tried to destiny swap with me and take on my life, now you also have to swap all the shit I had to go through on top of that. So you're not safe. You have to go through a lot of shit now and deal with the pain and the suffering that I had to go through. And that's what people don't realize. They want access to you, but they don't even realize that it wasn't overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, you becoming who you are now didn't happen overnight. And so they now have to go through a whole other character development of losing things, losing people, parts of their life being destroyed because they decided to come into your life to siphon from you, to leech off of you, to hook themselves to you and to take. And that is their karma, is having to deal with everything that comes with your destiny that was negative in the beginning, which they would have known if they, took their head out of their own ass and stopped watching people's plate so much and worried about their own plate. So when it comes to men and this phenomenon, there's a lot of men who will see beautiful things, see beautiful women, right? And just think that they're deserving of you just because they're men and because they hollered at you. And it's like, dude, you do realize that I have a standard. Not all women are just these open books that are just gonna take anything. We're not all, I don't know where men get this entitlement from, but a lot of men just feel like because they smile at you or compliment you, or because you may just be in the vicinity, they think that they're deserving of your time, your energy, your attention, and your number. They think they're deserving of that just because they're men and because they are in your space, which is why it's so important that you gatekeep yourself from men until the man that you are also interested in has proven himself worthy of your time, of your attention, and of your energy. Because there are men out here who just like nice things. They don't intend on nurturing it. They don't intend on protecting it. They don't intend on providing for it. They just intend to use it. And when they've sucked it dry, they're going to move on to their next victim. How many of us ladies have dealt with men like this, where they had a good thing with us? You know, let's say I don't have children, but let's say you guys have children by a man and, you know, you were a great wife, you're beautiful, you pleased him, you did everything you were supposed to do as a wife or as a woman in a relationship. And he turns around and throws it all away for someone who doesn't look anything like you, who has less positive qualities, you know, someone who's not on your level at all. That's because he doesn't know your value. You can't expect a man who doesn't know how to value beautiful things, but just likes them, to respect and honor you in the long term. It will never happen. It will never happen. I'm speaking from experience with being in a relationship with a man who just liked nice things because he liked having a trophy. But he didn't intend on, you know, nurturing me and being emotionally available and being kind and, you know, being genuine and just being what a man is supposed to be. He didn't do any of those things. He refused to. In fact, he was in his feminine energy so much that he thought I was supposed to be the man in the relationship. And so that's when shit starts to get scary, because it's like, that's how you know you're with a narcissist, because they will come on really strong in the beginning and you'll think this is your person the whole time. He just likes beautiful things and he's looking at you as a trophy to collect and put on his trophy stand. He's not looking at you as something to value and to love and to cherish and to eventually marry and start a family with. So that's why it is so important, ladies, that you are gatekeeping yourself. No one's going to tell you this, though. No one's going to tell you this. The world is so sick that they, you know, enable abusers and users more than they do the people who are actually star quality individuals who have a lot to lose in dealing with low vibrational people. You know, the world doesn't warn star quality women, hey, you know, beware of fake friends who are only in your life for character development so they can become you, because they don't know who they are. They're leeching off of you and who you are. Beware of the men who only like pretty things to collect as trophies to show off to their boys or to use for an ego boost, because you will be left feeling like shit. The world doesn't warn us about that. But the world does promote people pursuing beautiful things. But no one talks about the negative aspect of you being the star quality woman, you being the beautiful woman, you being that girl, and you having to protect yourself from leeches and from people who want to take from you and don't deserve it and haven't worked for it and haven't done the work on themselves and aren't worthy. So ladies, drop down in the comment section. I'd love to have a conversation further about this. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'll also be leaving my email in the description box so you can share your stories with me there as well. Have a lovely day, ladies.